Thank you very much, Joe. Indeed, coming in here now, Millenium taking 2 games in a row, and we know what that does to a team like NIP. Maybe starting off by that surrender vote by them, did you also think that it was completely unwinnable for them?
I think the game was over anyway, so surrendering was the right option. And if you keep on dragging out lost games, it can demotivate you even further. So I think the surrender vote was good.
So let's talk about the early game. Obviously, lanes were pretty even this time around, but we saw 2 very good early smite steals from Cotonex, which could have turned the favor. Bearing in mind, Nidalee Spears, everybody knows. Poke gets in the lead. It's very strong. How do you work them out? You know, as a jungler, obviously you're a jungler for CLG. How do you work them out? Is it just a case of I'm going in and am I going to get lucky, or is there a skill involved in this?
I think the person that tries to go for the steal has the advantage always, because it's like, okay, you can flash over the wall or engage or repel over with like elites or something, and it's way easier for someone to steal it than someone who is focusing on the whole time, because he's like, he's blending out everything else around him, and he's only looking at the HP bar of the dragon. And that happens to me a lot too as a jungler. I'm focused on the HP bar so much that I don't see anything what's happening around me. So, and then, yeah, it's 50-50 still, but it was really good work by Cotonex.
Let's actually stay on that on Cotonex, because as we mentioned, he's been coming in here in the LCS, not that many games under his belt, very good on Kha'Zix, was looking for another pick to make these smite steals and also to just be so incredibly good on Nocturne. He has been a great part in Millenium doing good here. Do you think it is Cotonex most or Nocturne on this patch?
I think he's a bit carried by the champion right now, because it's like the perfect champion against NIP, you know. He can just farm up the whole game, and he had like 60 feral flare stacks, and he killed like 85 creeps or something. And the further the game goes, the better it is for them with the feral flare jungler. So I don't really agree with the choice of champions from NIP in the jungle. What they should do is they should just keep playing late game champions too. And I think banning out Nocturne might be something that could work against them. And yeah, Millenium has been picking late game champions only. Like they have Ryze in the top lane every game, Nocturne in the jungle every game, and then now, if they have wave clear mid lane, like Ziggs or Soraka or something that can stall the game very long, then the champions are just stronger than the opponents. So I think NIP is kind of picking them into good positions when they can close out the game really early or in mid game, but they're not very experienced at closing out games, so the longer the games goes, it's the better thing for Millenium.
I mean, you've brought Jat's crystal ball over with you. You've guessed Kerp's mid laner so far. He's obviously backstage listening to your advice right now. What's he going to go with coming into Game 4?
I think it depends on NIP's bans. If they adjust their bans to a Nocturne ban and the Ryze ban maybe, then I think Kerp has the option to play either Ziggs again or Soraka, and I think those are the 2 best options definitely for stalling out games. And he also has the option to pick TF or something if he wants to. They are on purple side right now, so yeah, I think it's one of those 3 champions. And if NiP doesn't ban out Ryze and Nocturne again, or at least once, then we will see the same team comp again.
People are always talking about how strong 0-0 is, obviously, but here it hasn't come out just exactly because Kevin is on Ryze. Do you think that the key might always also be in, as you said, banning out Ryze, maybe a Jax banned out, an Aurelia first pick, and then you kind of force Kevin into a very awkward zone?
Well, NIP has a good drafting, simply because they just ban out Jax, force them into Aurelia first pick, and then the only thing that is left open for Kevin is Ryze, and Aurelia with Ryze is like super easy for Aurelia, and this is a very favorable matchup for Aurelia. So I think in drafting it's good for him, and they even first pick Aurelia. Like I don't agree with it, but they center their drafting a lot about 0-0, and he has always been doing well and winning his lane, dominating, and he has like a 150 CS lead, I think, at some point. So.
But the sad thing is that it doesn't seem to matter when you get in there, yeah.
So coming in, obviously, last game, possibly, Millenium now 2-1 up. We heard Joe talking about it. Nukeduck's face just looked down and out. You've played with these guys. You've played a season with these guys. How do they pick themselves up? They were 1-0 up, and now they're 2-1 down. It's not looking good right now.
Yeah, it's just they tilt. You can't really change it. It's a mental thing, and the fact that they don't have a coach that helps them with it, it's something that they can't overcome for themselves. They need someone there. I mean, Ollie is there, I think, I know that, but I'm not sure if he's the right person to motivate them and keep them up. And they definitely need someone like I don't know, like Monte Cristo, like he has always the right word for us, and he's always motivating us and encouraging us. So yeah, I think having a coach and a team that in such a situation that can find the right words is like really good to have.
So Dexter, you don't see NIP coming back. Are you calling it for Millenium here?
Yeah, I think this is a clear 3-1 for Millenium, but also it can also happen that NIP can come back if they ban Nocturne and Rise and they didn't prepare anything else. And I haven't seen Cotton X on something else yet, but his Nocturne is really good actually, so yeah.
Indeed, we'll see what they're going with in that banning phase. But for now, we're going to port back to base and top off our health and mana bars. But when we return, it will be time for the 4th game between Millenium and Ninjas in Pyjamas. Don't go anywhere.